The Good Friday Agreement. The historic peace treaty brought Republicans and Unionists together after decades of violent political conflict in Northern Ireland. So what is the Good Friday Agreement and how did it come to be? This is Decomplicated. What is the Good Friday Agreement? The Belfast Agreement, more commonly known as the Good Friday Agreement, was a peace treaty signed in Northern Ireland on the 10th of April 1998. It effectively brought an end to a period of trauma and turmoil known as the Troubles, which had raged in the region for around 30 years. The conflict was between Republicans who wanted the province to become part of United Ireland and Unionists who wanted to remain within the UK. The peace treaty established a cross-community consensus for peace and the future direction of the region. What were the Troubles? From the late 1960s, Northern Ireland was plunged into a brutal conflict between Republicans who, with the wider nationalist community, are mostly Catholic, and Unionists, who are mostly Protestant. Violence was largely perpetrated by paramilitary groups on both sides, such as the IRA and the UVF, while others were killed by the British security forces after the army was deployed in the summer of 1969. Of the 3,532 people who died, the majority were civilians, many of whom were killed in random tit-for-tat attacks across the sectarian divide. For the bulk of this 30-year period of conflict, Northern Ireland was under direct rule from Westminster. How did the Good Friday Agreement come to be? After years of failed negotiations and back-channel discussions, progress was slowly made across the 1990s. In 1996, cross-party peace talks began. 8 Northern Ireland political parties were involved, and the UK and Irish governments. And US President Bill Clinton sent a senator to chair talks. The agreement was eventually announced on the afternoon of the 10th of April 1998. The British and Irish governments agreed to hold joint referendums on the 22nd of May 1998. The referendum in Northern Ireland was on accepting the Good Friday Agreement itself, a copy of which was posted to every household, and 71% of people voted yes. The referendum in the Republic of Ireland was to amend the country's constitution to relinquish its claim on Northern Ireland. An overwhelming 94% of people voted to do so. The deal was formally made between the British and Irish governments and the 8 political parties from Northern Ireland. However, the DUP, Northern Ireland's largest unionist party, were the only major political group to oppose it. The agreement acknowledged the constitutional status of Northern Ireland as a part of the UK, reflecting the wish of the majority of citizens. But it also established a principle of consent, that a united Ireland could come about if and when a majority of people, both in the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, wanted it. In this instance, the British government would be bound to hold a referendum and honour the result. 3 strands of new institutions were established in the agreement. A democratically elected, power-sharing Northern Ireland Assembly to create laws in the region, a North-South Ministerial Council for cross-border issues, and a British-Irish Council and Governmental Conference. The Northern Ireland Assembly would be elected every 5 years and be led by an executive or cabinet of ministers, which would require the participation of parties on both sides of the community divide. Crucially, the agreement committed the parties to democratic and peaceful methods of resolving political issues, but also to begin the decommissioning of paramilitary groups and normalise security arrangements in Northern Ireland. The agreement marked a commitment to the mutual respect, the civil rights and the religious liberties of everyone in the community. And Britain agreed to incorporate the European Convention on Human Rights into the law of Northern Ireland. The Good Friday Agreement put an end to the Troubles in Northern Ireland, but the work of sustaining peace goes on. Despite all challenges to the Accord over the years, and the difficulties that are still occurring today, the Good Friday Agreement has been a major example of peace building to the world.